If I asked you, what are the things that could bring you a true sense of happiness, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? A lot of you might say, well, I'll be happy when I'm rich, I'll be happy after watching this new movie, or an example could be a friend of mine. When a new iPhone or a computer comes out, he'd be like the first one to buy it. Seriously, like he would buy every single phone that comes out. I couldn't understand why, so I asked him, why did you buy that phone? The old one works fine, right? It'd say something like, well, I don't know, it has these new apps on, it's expensive, and it feels good to buy something new. And I'm like, good luck with that, but none of it is going to fill that void inside your heart. The joy you feel from having more stuff is an unsustained happiness based on external stimulus. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi discovered that the only way you could experience true happiness is by altering your state of consciousness. How can we alter our state of consciousness then? Csikszentmihalyi says that the only way to achieve that is by entering a state of optimal experience called flow. Because our default state of mind is characterized by complete disorder, self-doubt, self-consciousness, fear and jealousy, flow seems to bring order in consciousness, making all of that self-critique and mental chatter disappear. When it's on, a person can feel true ecstasy and forget about all the unpleasant aspects of life. In flow, time seems to dilate. Fascinating, isn't it? You've probably experienced this yourself. When you're working on a project, you start working and bam, 6 hours pass by without even noticing. Steven Kotler adds on to that, saying that in flow, parts of our prefrontal cortex shut down. From that, we experience heightened attention, loss of self. Our information processing speeds up. In other words, flow shortens our path to mastery, enabling you to cultivate any skill much faster. Now let's look at some triggers Csikszentmihalyi cited in his book to help you ease your way into the flow channel. Taking any kind of social risk or challenge, such as exposing your self-image to rejection, is the easiest way to get into the zone. Now you don't want that risk to be too high, otherwise you'll freak out and quit. It must be about 4% higher than your skill levels. Yes, just 4% and you'll find yourself in flow. This analogy of social risks is also applicable to any kind of creative work, whether you're into writing, playing music, or boxing. The main idea is to increase the challenge every time you get better. Don't repeat the same boring activities every day. This is how you maintain a life of continuous flow and constant ecstasy. In The Rise of Superman, Steven Kotler shows us how we can hack into a flow state by using external triggers. The first external trigger is novelty and unpredictability. Navigating into unknown experiences heightens our attention, so an unpredictability trigger could be a walk in the woods, exploring a cave, traveling to another country, or even talking to a stranger. The second external trigger is deep embodiment. It requires overwhelming the brain with action until its thinking part shuts down from over-processing information. An example for deep embodiment could be an intensive workout session, performing complicated martial art moves, or any kind of physical activity that requires focusing attention and exerting lots of physical effort. Now you're probably wondering, why do I have to take risks? Why do I have to challenge myself to get into the zone? Well, here's why. Steven goes deep in his research on flow hacking by revealing the science of neuroelectricity and neurochemistry behind flow. With his research, you're now able to know what happens exactly inside the brain and the body when you're in the zone, and why you need these challenges to get into the flow. He says that even though flow is always a positive experience, it starts with an unpleasant phase called struggle. You start the struggle phase by overwhelming the brain with information, as we said before. For an athlete, it could be a performance that demands lots of physical training. For a writer, it could be trying out new vocabulary. The struggle phase brings up frustration and the release of stress hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline. Emotionally, we feel adrenaline as fear. It's the fight or flight response. Either you accept the struggle, which equals flow on the long run, or you resist the obstacle by quitting. Adrenaline primes the body for a flow state, so the next time you feel that fear rising up in your stomach, that's a good sign. It's a signal that a flow state is coming. The second phase is release. It triggers the moment you accept the struggle and stop resisting it. In release, the stress chemicals are replaced with relaxation chemicals like dopamine and endorphins. Underneath release comes flow. It sneaks up on you while you're struggling with your task or risk. In flow, performance goes through the roof. You'll experience heightened attention, as we said, and increased mental and physical abilities. Now there's something else you need to know before we move on to our final stage. The duration of a flow state varies from task to task. For example, a flow state triggered by a 20-minute meditation session won't last as long as a flow experience that's triggered by skydiving, exercising, or hiking. Same goes for its intensity. Our fourth stage is recovery. From all these chemicals produced in the body and all that fast processing of information, flow leaves us in a state of total exhaustion. Recovery is an unpleasant phase as it's a reactivation process of several brain parts. It's the transition from Superman to normal reality. Csikszentmihalyi says that any lapse in concentration will erase flow. If that happens, you have to repeat the cycle again, so keep that in mind. He says that by stretching skills, by reaching toward higher challenges, such person becomes an increasingly extraordinary individual.